No, you aren't on the wrong channel. This is The Stronghold. I'm the Magi, and today we are going to be talking about how to unlock the power. More specifically, how to unlock the Power 9 related achievement, Taste of Power. There was a lot of discussion online early that this particular achievement was broken. All of that appears to have been cleared up and is working as expected. So we are going to tackle the perhaps most powerful related achievement that there is. But before we get into all that, take just a moment to like, comment, and subscribe, because that kind of thing really keeps this boat moving. Now, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, right. For those that maybe weren't around from the very beginning of Magic and perhaps don't know, this is roughly what an unlimited edition of the Power 9 would look like. This image is actually a photo of proxies, but that is a topic for another video. You can tell because all of the edges of the cards, the white borders if you would, are still pretty pristine, and you just would not see that. I personally sold my power back in late 1997 for the whopping sum of around $3,000 US. And that was a very good price for that. I felt like I was certainly getting my money's worth. No regrets whatsoever. That money allowed me to make some life-changing decisions. Just for S&Gs, prior to sitting down and doing this recording, I called an old associate of mine from Virginia and asked what it would cost me to replace this. And he said to expect for a Beckett graded 10 set of unlimited Power 9 upwards of $300,000. That's right, a small home here in the East Coast of America, if it could even be found. And they had serious reservations, not only if it could be found, but how long something like that would take. So definitely an appreciating product, and something that even on Arena we should appreciate. So by all means, take a moment and let it soak in. The Black Lotus, the 5 colorless Moxen, each representing the 5 colors of Magic, Ancestral Recall, Time Walk, and Time Twister. And in taking a closer look at the achievement requirements themselves, these are the 9 spells that we need to cast 1 of. That's right, we only need to cast 1. And we don't need to win a game with this in play. And those relevant facts are going to shape the decisions that we make in order to tackle this achievement. Many Magic the Gathering Arena players have surprised me with their assumption that the Arena Cube or Chromatic Cube drafts is the correct answer in order to complete this particular achievement. But the Stronghold Magic 8 Ball, by which I make all decisions here on the channel, says no, for a number of reasons. First off, the various cube offerings here on Arena are not exactly the most budget-friendly things, with price tags starting at 4,000 gold. And of course, these are phantom events, so when it's over, you don't even get to keep the cards, only whatever rewards you earned in the process. Secondly, these cubes are very limited time offerings, most often being measured merely by days, so there would be absolutely no guarantee that any of them would be offered at the time you're trying to complete this achievement, or that you would have time to tackle the achievement when they are being offered. These cubes are made up of literally hundreds of cards, so there would be no guarantee that you'd even get to draft a particular piece of power, much less the opportunity to ever cast it. And lastly, and well, perhaps most importantly, the current versions of the Arena Cube as well as the Chromatic Cube do not offer any of the Power 9 directly, so it kind of becomes a moot point. So, as it turns out, our one real option hangs solely on the Oracle of the Alpha, an alchemy based card from 2023 that when it enters the battlefield, it conjures the power 9 into your library, then shuffles. It has some other abilities and keywords and whatnot, but that's the part we're really interested in. The issue here is it's a mythic and an alchemy card, and many budget players are not going to feel good about playing 4 copies of a mythic wild card that is really only good in, well, historic at this point, although technically it is timeless legal as well. So what we really want to do is put this in as a commander for a brawl deck, because that makes it easy to cast because it's in our command zone and we know we're going to be able to cast it on turn 3. But through the power of reading, we are reminded that Oracle of the Alpha is not a legendary creature. So let's review our goals here. We want to preserve wildcards as budget players. We need to be able to consistently draw and cast Oracle of the Alpha. And of course, we also then need to draw and subsequently cast one of the pieces of Power 9. It doesn't really matter which in order to finish this particular achievement, but we need to do all of those things consistently. We do not, however, need to win the match. So once we've cast that piece of power, we can just very happily quit and move on to something else. So you may be asking, how are we going to achieve all of those things? Well, believe it or not, we've got you covered for 1 mythic wild card, of course, for Oracle of the Alpha, 2 uncommons, also from Alchemy, Pool Your Resources, another 3 mana, and 57 islands. That's right, the deck is dirt cheap here. The trick, of course, is that we are going to be mulliganing aggressively to make sure we start the game with 1 copy of Pool Your Resources, and even if that is the only card in our hand, we pretty assuredly should accomplish the goal. You see, we are going to use our first 3 turns to play a land, and then on the 3rd turn, cast Pool Your Resources, gifting our opponent a fish so that we seek 2 non-land cards, which, if you're paying attention, means we get a copy of Oracle of the Alpha and the 2nd copy of Pool Resources into our hand. So then on turn 4, we would cast Oracle of the Alpha. He conjures and shuffles the Power 9 into our deck. On the following turn, we would once again cast Pool Your Resources, pulling, again, if you're paying attention, 2 pieces of power into our hand. Hopefully, 92% of the time, we should get one of the 0 casting cost Black Lotus or Moxen into our hand, which we can then cast immediately and accomplish our goal on turn 4. And then, of course, we can move on with our life. But does this actually work? Well, that's a great question. Let's find out. So there it is, guys. Proof of concept achieved. The deck will mechanically work. Both of those games obviously were against Sparky, so we will be throwing this deck up in the historic queues very shortly to get some more realistic, if you would, statistics on any sort of win rate or whatever. But even if it doesn't have a high win rate, which obviously it's probably going to have a 0% win rate, this deck should do a fine job in helping you achieve a taste of power with very minimal amount of resources invested. And of course, I want to take this opportunity to thank my supporting patrons, because being a small content creator comes with big bills. And I just couldn't do everything that I do without their monthly support. Thanks, guys. And of course, if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful in your arena experience, we have a few suggestions for what you could watch next.